Hello from Bangkok. This is the podcast Pigeon of Peace, where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooting. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about gummophily, and let's start with the definition.
Gum, it goes from bubble gum. It's some special part of some kind of caoutchouc rubber to be not eaten but to be chewn for some period. It's also a very funny story when Spanish people and Portuguese people and British people came to Latin America. They find that some tribes were using some kind of отвердевший.
Maybe like hardened stuff.
Juice of some trees, caoutchouc, palms, to chew. And they ask why you do this. And tribes explain something like this. When we run for a long time, when we have nothing to eat, when we have some kind of stress, we just chew it and we came to the trance. It's like you smoke, we chew. So even in American army, I don't know how to say, payok.
Maybe like food portions or like something that they would give
daily ratio, maybe
portion.
daily
ratio. Yes.
Daily ratio. They use some part of food like cans, like some kind of gallets, and they also have cigarettes and bubble gums. Why? Because when people have something to be sweetened, when people have something in the mouth, they became more polite. There is even advice when we talk about disputes and negotiations. I usually will say, if you see that some people are trying to raise voices and start to almost fight, you could stand and you should drink, you should eat. And when someone eat or drink, it is hard to make a quarrel. So this is a very important part of American culture for both continents. And when we see movies from Hollywood and other places where a movie could be made, we see people who choose the games or talk about games. And for sure, it was a time when we live in Soviet Union and there were no such good in the shop, and just people, military men who were serving in Germany, in Bulgaria, in Hungary, and some other countries, they could bring some very funny and very colorful sweets and candies and also bubble gums, and was like a kind of child currency to be exchanged, to be stored, to be something to be proud of.
Well, I do believe it was like a hunt indeed. When you just collect something, even when you have like a cash pocket, you would actually save for bubble gum, then you do exchange, and maybe the result would be like dissatisfaction when you get like a duplicate of the inner side of it. But when we speak about like maybe more adult people who already step over this childhood period, so they do like a bit of collecting, they do recognize the different stuff. So what kind of world is this for those people? Whether they hunt for specific maybe marks, maybe specific colors, maybe specific issues with this. So how, if you would put it on the map, how it would actually look like?
When American producers of bubble gums found that some people in Cuba and in Venezuela and some other countries collect not bubble gums by themselves, but just vapor, wrap paper, it's okay to say?
Wrap paper.
Wrap paper, they were smart and they were thinking, okay, we'll put some small pictures inside. Do you know a story about bubblegum Love Is?
I think I've heard it.
It's worth to know. Yes, it was a girl who liked the man and she started to draw some small pictures. And even after the death of this man, she gave the right to make it to another artist. And this is maybe the most famous series of bubble gums. But for previous series, it was like Turbo with cars. It was Donald Duck with cartoon personages. Heroes,
characters,
yes, and also it was like berries with cherry and blueberry and something like this. There was like let me say Wonderlands in German, park развлечений. I know how to say. Amusement
Or
park?
maybe amusement parks.
Amusement parks, yes. And suddenly people start to collect it. And you know, when you will be, by the way, you're now in Bangkok. In Bangkok, you will find a lot of people who making something from the soap. They use some special tool and they make like flowers from the soap. Have you seen them?
Yes, I've heard. It's like a
Yes,
carving.
correct. Carving, yes, carving. But on Bali, they do very smart way of one wooden piece carving. They make it from some special roots for bushes. But in Thailand, they make a lot of carving from the soap, and it also could be placed on some specific bubble gums because some producers they want to create products which would be for tourists. Because if you live in Bangkok, you used to see those flowers made from soap, and for you it's like a dust. But for example, when you come from another country, like from Finland or maybe from Fiji, it would be quite amusing.
And there's also one interesting moment that I observed about the bubblegum. It's also could be, especially at that age, because I think nowadays it's less popular because nowadays it's more like utilitarian, or maybe, it could be used as probably part of the style of someone. But previously, it also was a nice addition to the merchandise. For example, if there was a movie about like a Terminator, Robocop, or even some cartoons, people actually, like would look into different, like scenes that they could find there, and it also would make this movie maybe like reusable or whatever. So it seems that it was a little part that was helping with selling the overall stuff more and more. And again, like I would probably come up with the analogy of the Star Wars. So technically it's like a 8 movies, but like so much merchandise and like a lot of things are part of the system, toys, games, like keychains, etc. So whether gum, and especially maybe gumophilia, was considering as part of this movement in order to like let people buy more, let people consume more, let people maybe like get some more stuff and get engaged with the overall brand.
Maxim, now I will show something, and I see it would warm your heart. This is special chips from Singapore Marina Bay when you play in casino, and this is for adults. But there is also another way how to involve people. There is another chips, but this would be made for children. So this is like a children casino, and they use some kind of animated I don't know, characters from different movies and so on. And sometimes it has like special meaning. For example, you will get like play a one-hand bandit. And if you will get like, for example, 2 hamburger, you will get 3 and so on. So sometimes it is used to activate parents to buy some small stuff for children. For example, we are going to shopping mall, and our children could stay in special room, and they have several ways to conduct the time. First, they will play like Nintendo or PlayStation, and others they will play each with another. But sometimes it's hard because they have quite different age. And another way, they could ask parents to buy them some children chips to play with. So it's quite useful, and it's quite resourceful economy, because children, they want to have all characters in the set, and sometimes these characters could be hide in chocolate bar, in bubble gums, or even with some drinks.
Well, actually, the more and more, like we speak about different skills, about different, collectibles, or the way to find the things, I do realize that you always need to know the stuff, because you will never know like when exactly it might be needed, even if the situation is not connected. Let's say if the customer actually was a kid and it would, like evoke some emotional feelings, or maybe like you could connect some dots and maybe get right fact at the right time. So whether gumophilia or any others, still like part of the system where you actually could use this network of widely spread knowledge in order to help your business, your conversation, your project, or even on a day-to-day basis, it actually could do a little but still help.
I will tell you this kind of economy. For example, another student of School of Troubleshooters, Maxim Kolpakov, he was in the Olympic Games in Paris, and he bought some small stuff like breloque, and it
Keychain,
is
yes.
Keychain.
Yes.
Yes. And now, if you will ask, it is impossible to buy because all stocks are empty. And also there are some another kind of stuff like, I don't know how to say, it's like по-русски значок, like pin and so on. And you know, I have a huge collection of non-existing items. And also I have some items like old bubble gum, which are not already in the production. And if I know that, for example, my client's daughter or my client's son collect like stones, like spoons, like pens, like signs, like postcards, like stamps, like bubble gums, I take some of these and I will give to the parents, and they are always much happy. Then, for example, I could make a present for $1,000. For example, it would be Don Perignon from Konstantin Ernst. It's quite useful. But those people, for example, do not like these champagnes, or maybe they do not know this famous person. But if I will give this small pin for 10 euros, from Olympic Games, they will check it is impossible to buy, and they are so happy. So if you have a very old one, bubble gums, wrap-up paper or inside paper, it is very expensive in the eyes of the child, of adult people who are expensive, who are rich.
Well, I do believe this is also was a very nice segue when we speak especially about, like a smile of the child. So knowing this would definitely help to make this world a better place. And we reviewed the skill of gumophilia and how it could be helpful for you. Stay in peace.